Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's time for Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff. I'm Tim, K3LR, and along with me today, as most Tuesdays, is Jeff, KB8ZWT. Hello, Jeff.
Hi. How are you today?
Good. And of course, this coming off the big CQ Worldwide weekend last weekend.
Yeah.
And I heard you mention that you worked some DX.
Yeah, I got VK4QH first thing Saturday morning.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That was on 40?
That was on 40 meters, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do too much because my daughter's car broke down, so we ended up having to go out and buy a new car for her.
Well, speaking of breaking down, I would think over the weekend, maybe some guys had some amplifiers break down.
Yep, I'm sure.
You know, with the way conditions were and so forth. And of course, the place to upload your log is at cqww.com. So no matter how small or how large, but no matter how small your log is, the committee would really love to have the logs, and they need them before this Friday. There's a very short window on getting logs to cqww.com.
Yes.
And it's a great website, has all the rules, has all the results from past years. And another place, Jeff, I like to go is 3830scores.com. And there's a lot, that's where the informal scores that were made right after the contest are loaded up there. And there's a lot of good soapbox comments. And you just click on the CQWW phone tab, and you can go there and pick the call signs in the various categories. Mm-hmm. And I spend hours just reading the soapbox.
Yeah.
You know, and in that soapbox is where guys talk about amplifiers.
Yes.
and how things went. So let's see. We have Kilo Echo 8, Lima Golf Oscar, and Whiskey 5. Kilo Delta India from Odessa, and W5 Charlie Juliet Alpha in Mississippi, and Kilo Papa 4 Juliet Radio Sierra, and our friend Greg, November Charlie 7 Bravo, and it's in the middle of the night again over there in India. Here he is, Victor United 2 India Bravo from New Delhi, and Whiskey 2 Charlie Oscar Delta. Heard Tim on the air Saturday. He didn't hear me. Well, that wasn't me. That was N2NC. He did single band 20, and his high claim score is higher than the current U.S. record on 20 meters. So hopefully John will get a new record out of it.
Good.
And let's see, we got Sugar Juliet 2 Whiskey, and there was a comment there. We had K3UA as an indicator of 15-meter conditions because of the Aurora. When he started to be S9 plus, we went back to 15. And K3UA was the other single band operating from here over the weekend. India Kilo 8, November India Mike, and Kilo 2 Papa Juliet Charlie, and Kilo Golf 8 Radio Yankee in Massillon. And let's see. Jeff, there's an 811H with the 811 tubes that he bought at DX, and it's running well.
Good.
And Jerry, we were just talking about that's probably the value amplifier that's on the market. And Sugar Queen 6 Echo Lima Victor, and Otis Ola, that's November Papa 4 Golf, Jose there. Ola to you. He's a orthodontist down in Puerto Rico, and he operates here at K3LR.
Yeah.
Also, Sugar Victor 2 Charlie Lima Juliet. He was part of the Juliet 49 Victor multi-op, I guess, over the weekend. And Jamie Lee Schwartz, hello, and hello to your son as well. And my name is Timothy, but it's not spelled quite like that. That is a very interesting spelling. That's very cool. And let's see, we have W7 Juliet Echo Tango, and from Israel 4 Zulu 1 Juliet. And let's see, Tubes are cheaper to replace. Let's see. We've got David says, love my 811. And there's Bobby, Kilo Fox 5 Golf Tango X-Ray, and Kilo 4 Yankee Juliet. And Eric says he's studying for his tech in general at the same time. That's great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Kilo November 4 Mike Kilo Sierra. He's got an SPE Expert 1.5 amp. That's a solid state amp. And Brian says 811H, great amp. He loves his. And he got his 811 from DX Engineering. He said the solid state units are nice, but the tube units are easily switched with some experience, and parts are easily changed. And we also have Golf India 4 Germany India Delta, Joe from Belfast, and Kilo Delta 9 Papa Delta Juliet. He got his license in March. Congratulations.
Good.
And Delta Juliet 6 Delta Oscar. And Dan says he bought an ACOM 1010 tube amp. He liked it better than the solid state amp. So, you know, that's the big thing these days, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I obviously don't have an amp right now, so which way should I go? Should I go solid state or with a tube?
Well, you know, if you can be very careful with the solid state amplifier, I think that shows a lot of promise. They're more expensive, typically. You know, the solid state amplifiers have great reliability if you treat them well. So how do you treat them well? Well, you don't run them all the way to the wall.
Right.
You know, you know, just because a car can go 150 miles an hour, you don't push the car to 150 miles an hour.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the amplifiers, especially with FT8. The 811H is a good value amp, but then the AL82, which has got a pair of 3500 tubes in it, is really rugged. And what do I mean by rugged? It means you could have a bad SWR, and it's still not going to blow up on you.
Gotcha.
You know, so you have a butternut vertical, which in some spots has a great SWR, and some other spots not so good. So you would have to be very careful with the solid state amplifier, and you would probably want to have one that has an internal tuner, because the tuner doesn't fix the SWR problem, but it helps the amplifier. The amplifier then says the SWR is low, I'm going to be okay. SWR and solid state amplifiers can be a problem. And the amplifiers, the solid state amplifiers, are built to protect themselves under most conditions.
Okay.
I didn't say all. I said most. And we're having a lot of good success with the solid state RF kit that we're selling from Germany. And guys are really enjoying that, but it's expensive.
Right.
You know, and in some cases, Jeff, when you go to buy the amplifier, that might be the most expensive piece of gear you have in your station.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so there's a lot of things to think about here. Let's see, we got Kilo Golf 6 Yankee Tango Golf, and David, who's got an 811, says 600 watts is more than enough. So let's talk about that. You go from your 100-watt radio to 600 watts.
Right.
And so the first 3 dB would be 200 watts. The next 3 dB would get you to 400 watts. And so this is about 7 dB more, going from 100 watts to 600 watts. It's about 7 dB. So that's a big deal. But if you go from 100 watts to 1500 watts, that is more like 13 dB.
Right.
So, you know, it just depends. But you always want to try and get the best antenna system you can first, and then take a look at an amplifier. Right. Because the antenna works both on receive and transmit.
Correct. Yep.
So, and let's see. Ken says the ACOM 1010 is a great amp, but the Ameritron 1306 is sure easy with my 7610 and the Hustler 5BTV, as long as you don't push it into a high SWR. SWR can really hurt amplifiers, both tubes and solid state,
Right.
but the solid state ones are not as forgiving. On when you have SWR, and you also have to have good coax jumpers.
Absolutely.
You have to have tight connectors. You know, that goes without saying. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, N3JD says he woke up hungry. He's working over here at the steel plant, and so he's known as the Steel Man. That's N3 Julia Delta from Newcastle, and KL0 Sierra. And Jeff says, buy the ACOM 1200S and the ACOM remote tuner, low so long at 700 watts. So there it is. That's the solid state ACOM amplifier. Now, again, when you buy that solid state amplifier and the tuner, there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
And but that is great stuff. ACOMs are just super amplifiers. And the AL11, okay, the basic 811 is the same dollars as the 7300. That is true. And you do want to use these amplifiers on 220 volts, Jeff.
Right.
I know a lot of guys put them on 110 volts or 120 volts. That really is stressful on the wiring in the house, especially if it's an older house. And we don't want anybody to have problems. 220 is the safest way to run the amplifiers. And please tell us about the SDR transceiver MB1. I wish I could. I don't have any data on that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's not something we sell, so I'm sorry. Chris says, with K3LR antennas, you need 0.5 watts to work all the way to Mars. Well, I guess we could try that. You know, you never know.
Never know.
Bobby's KF5 GTX says, you get the best bang for your buck in the first 500 watts. That is very true, because you do, you know, you're all the way to 6 dB by the time you get to 400 watts. So that's why a lot of guys get to 600 watts, and that does the trick.
Right.
Brian says, Tim, are all the stations there at the superstation running full legal power? The answer is yes. They run 1,500 watts. It takes about 30 watts to drive them to 1,500 watts. And this is the only multi-band amplifier that's here. The rest of them are all single band amplifiers that I built. And they run a single 8877. That's a triode, very easy to make work. And this is a single 8877 as well. But this came from a very dear friend of mine. And so I have an emotional attachment to it. And but W3YQ and I rebuilt it all. And, you know, one of the guys that works for us, KF6I, he did the brand new front panels and side panels. And it looks brand new,
It's
Jeff.
brand new, yeah.
You wouldn't know that this amplifier is 40 years old.
Jeez, not at all.
It's really cool. Let's see. David says, I'm an apartment ham, so 110 volts only. Be very careful with that. Do not try to run too much power, because the 110 volt service that you have is not built to supply the kind of current that amplifiers want to take. So be very careful. And Dino says it's a great amp, the ALS 1306. That's another good value amplifier. It's not cheap, but it's for a solid state amplifier, it's really good. And Overland says, I like my AL80B much more than a solid state amplifier. And let's see, we're getting so many amplifier comments today.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good.
Great. The ACOM 1000 power amplifier has a step in the signal. Please tell us how to get rid of it. I don't know what the step in the signal is.
Yeah.
So give us some more information on that. 89I, he bought the ACOM 1200S, great investment. Alex says he's using the ACOM 1010 and thinking to replace the tube. Any advice? It's X-Ray Quebec 7 India radio. I guess send us an email so that we can correctly, I don't know what tube is in that model, so send us an email. I run an Ameritron ALS 600 and it does all that I need. If you want the easy button approach, that's the way to go. And yes, that ALS 600 from Ameritron, very good amplifier. And Skip Longpass says, how much does the electric bill go up during a contest month at K3LR? And so when we're doing multi-multi in non-virus times, it's about $200. But Jeff, where can you go and have that much fun with 12 guys
for $200?
$200. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Gordon says he's using an AL80B, and where I was, the ice storm just took down my off-center fed diver. Sorry to hear about that. And Yankee Victor 5 Hotel Victor is on with us. And Chris says we have a mix and match of tube legal limit amplifiers. Okay. And John says I sold my 1306 and ended up with an SPE Expert 1K. That's a solid state amplifier, built-in tuner, and antenna ports, 2 inputs for rigs. Pretty awesome. Well, that's good. Good. And the ACOM 1000, according to the information, you need to increase the quiescent current. It's not the case. Step has caused the amplifier unlocking when there isn't any. Yeah, you really do need to email us so that we can help you with that. We're getting down in the weeds here, and I want to make sure you get the right info. Please email dxengineering@dxengineering.com. Our friend Angel is on with us, and nice to see you, Angel, down there at Arecibo, taking a little lunch break at the big antenna. And Bobby says, Tim, could you do an episode on the DXE NCC2? I'm going to get one this winter. Well, that's a great idea, because I'm gonna have the set back over on 160 meters. So Bobby, we will do that. And let's see, Edgar says he's using the BLA 600, using 20 watts output through an LDG 600 to keep the SWR down. And good job there, Edgar.
And I must say to Edgar, happy Navy Day. Today's Happy Navy Day.
Happy Navy Day. That's good. And let's see, Chris N says, Palstar LA1K power amplifier, what do you think of it? I have heard no complaints about that amplifier.
No.
And it's made, in Ohio. And Palstar is all top quality stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, Jeff, the tuners.
Oh, absolutely. They're amazing.
And I know that Paul down there at Palstar put a lot of his work. He's a very, very smart engineer, so I wouldn't hesitate to have it. Dirk says he loves his Alpha 8410, and Gordon says I also have a Heathkit SB230 running on the original 8873 tube. I remember your boss Scott N3RA. He got an SB230 back when we were kids. And he built it, and but he had a replacement transformer for it, which was very rare. But that 8873 is a rare tube as well. And see, David says I have an Expert 2K FA, great amp, cruises at 400 watts. Was dead when I got it, so cheap, so it was an easy fix. Happy ham.
There you go.
There you go. That is. Let's see. David says, I got Bonaire this weekend. Isn't that where Arecibo is? No, Arecibo is in Puerto Rico. Yeah. And that's where Angel Whiskey Papa 3 is, in Puerto Rico. And Dino says, who at DXE can I send a new product recommendation to? You got my email address, Dino. I want to see that. You got an idea, you send it to me.
Yes.
So, I get excited about that stuff. Let's see. Please make a test of the SDR radio MB1 video. Okay, we'll take a look at it, but like I said, we don't currently sell that. Chris N says, thank you, Tim. Have a good day. Please be safe. Hope to see you in 2022 Hamvention. Well, I hope there's a 2021 Ham.
Yeah, it too.
Gosh. And last question of the day, off topic. Any update on a kit to convert the 43-foot DXE vertical to 80 meters? We do have some discussions going on. Yeah. We don't have an active project for that yet. That is something that we want to do, Brian. We actually want to get it so that you can work 80 and 160 with that. It is on the list, but man, we got so many things on the list that we're trying to do. So we'll get there. And Chris, and do you pay folks for product ideas? No, we don't. This is a ham radio business. This isn't Microsoft and Google.
Yep.
So we're just trying to have some fun, help you guys out, give you world-class customer service.
Absolutely.
And ship it fast. You get the order to us by 10 o'clock tonight, it's out the door.
Yep.
And so that's what we got going on. So Jeff, another Tuesday in the books. We talked about solid state versus tube amplifiers.
Yep.
And the show could be an hour long. And, but we got some good ideas. We'll do an in-depth on the NCC2, and we'll do some other fun stuff as well.
I'll have to get the Christmas list into the wife. Amplifier.
There you go. Start doing it, building it now.
Yep.
Get that amplifier list together. So that's it for Tuesday, and we'll see you on the Manufacturers Showcase on Thursday afternoon. That's 18:30 Zulu, 2:30 Eastern Time. For Jeff and Tim, 73 from DX Engineering.
Take care.